If you are a food blogger and you shoot food images and you want to transition to shoot food videos, this is the video you got to watch. Every day, 90 million images are uploaded to platforms like Instagram and Facebook. Of that, 43% of the images are of food. Every other person has DM for collaborations written in their profile. So your competition is really high. What are you doing about it to differentiate yourself? We all know that videos is the future. So are you able to shoot food videos? Is that something you want to learn? If so, hang around and watch this video. To introduce myself briefly, my name is Insi Chengappa. I've been a professional photographer for the past 18 years and a specialist food photographer and food videographer for the past 6 years. I run a food content studio called Look and Cook, where I create content for food brands, and making food look good is what I love doing. So let's go back to the question of transitioning from food photography to food videos. So let's break it down. What does a food video have? The elements that are required to create a food video are: you need to manage the camera, record sound, maybe add music if you don't want to add voice. You need to manage your lighting. Then when it comes to food, you need to decide on the dish, what pots and pans you're going to use to cook it, how you're going to style it, so on and so forth. And then of course, when it comes to editing, you need to learn how to add the text on it, how to add sound, music. Whereas when it is a photograph, which you've been doing a lot of, it's much easier. You cook it in the kitchen. If you do not have professional lights, you would put it next to a window. And when you press that shutter, in a split second, your image is created. Whereas for a video, it's a lot longer. It may be a couple of hours too. 1 minute of a video has 25 to 30 frames. So your light needs to be consistent through the whole shoot. There are a lot more elements that are required to create a video. So if you want to make that journey easier and differentiate yourself, watch this video towards the end, and I will share the Facebook group which you can join, where I'll share a lot more tips. So I promised that I will share some tips on how you can transition from photography to food videos. So point number 1 is pre-planning. When you want to shoot a video, it is essential you have something known as a storyboard or a short list. So what does a short list have? If you are shooting a recipe video, you would have the steps of the recipe listed out. If it is any other kind of food video, you can have your shots written down in detail in the kind of angle you would use for the camera, maybe the pots and pans you will use, what would the action be. So if you're a good artist, many people draw it too, or you can just write it out in text. You need to plan it before you begin the shoot, because as you are shooting, there are multiple things that happen simultaneously. So if you've not planned it, your shoot can get extended and a lot longer. And when it gets long, you get tired and you don't go back to doing it. So pre-plan it so that you achieve your target of creating that video. Point number 2 is lighting. Unlike a photograph where you click once and in that split second your picture is captured, in a video the lighting needs to be consistent throughout the video. So what happens when you want to shoot next to a window? Clouds pass by, so the light becomes dim and bright on a constant basis. So your light will never be even through the video if you're shooting a cooking video next to a window. Therefore, it's essential you have continuous light like an LED, a light that is fixed and consistent through the video. Nowadays, a lot of lights are available at a much lower cost, so it's not a very expensive proposition to buy that and get started with shooting videos. Point number 3 is framing. So a lot of photographers are used to shooting an image vertical, because either they do it for their food blogs where you have two columns and you shoot vertical, or they're used to shooting it for a magazine where your framing is vertical. It is much easier, according to me, to shoot a vertical image because there's not much space around it that you got to fill to style it. Whereas when you go on to doing a video, a horizontal frame has a lot of empty space on the left and the right if you place your food in the center, and that has its own issues. So you need to learn how to frame it differently so you can fill the horizontal frame that is normally of a video. Of course, today people use vertical framing as well because of TikTok. That makes your framing much easier. So the fourth point is stabilizing. Video is a good form of storytelling. You can add action to a video. So it depends on how many people are there on the set to shoot it. So if you are going to cook yourself, somebody else is shooting you can add movement to the camera. However, if you're the only person who's going to do all of it, then you need to have a tripod or a stand or a way of anchoring your camera so your hands are free to focus on the cooking. Number 5 is editing. The softwares that are required to edit food images and food video are different. You will need to learn how to add text to the videos and how to add audio. If you want to do a voiceover, you'll need how to record it and add it to the video. Along with that, there are lots of sites where you can get music which you can add, and I will simplify all that for you. As you can see, video requires a lot more time and effort, and if you're dedicated and willing to put the time in, it is a worthwhile effort because you can differentiate yourself. Watch this space for more videos where I'll share more tips and tricks on how to get started.